don't know where to go next.
This is a safe space. You can.
Right now. Is it?
No. Yeah, it is a safe space. Yeah, we love you. Come on, you can do it.
Okay. Cool.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring.
Hi friends, welcome to the Metacast Roundtable by Naavik. And today is a winter holiday special. We're going to be reviewing the year in deals. Anton Gorodetsky is here with us today. And also just discussing more informally all the highlights that we took away from 2022. So grab a cozy drink, get cozied up, and I hope you enjoy this more informal episode. So joining us in this Christmas special, Abhimanyu Kumar, co-founder of Naavik, Anthony Pecorella, co-founder of Level Up Labs and Naavik consultant, has to take a bit of a deep breath, Matt Dion, lead product manager at EA and writer at Naavik, and Anton Gorodetsky, co-founder of InvestGame, that partners with Naavik, and also head of industry relations at My Games. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hey, guys.
Did anyone bring some jingle bells or something? Wow.
No jingle bells, but Anthony told us he had some props.
Oh, that's for later.
That's for later. Okay.
Spoilers.
I have a new sweatshirt. That's a company sweatshirt. Does that count as a prop for Christmas?
This is okay. So my studio is called Industrial Toys. You can see it here. And then we've got tanks and soldiers and the studio logo. We're working on Battlefield Mobile, if you didn't know. So that's very on brand for us. This is our ugly holiday sweater.
Awesome.
Well,
Nice.
what does it look like for the listeners?
Mine is probably uglier.
Can you
for the
briefly
listeners.
describe it?
Yeah. Okay. This is exclusive content for the YouTube audience, but I'm going to try and translate for the podcast audience here. So, okay, we've got a green and red and white ugly holiday sweater. We've got like bands. You can look up the Industrial Toys logo online. It's kind of like a reticle or a crosshairs. And that's kind of like going across in rows. We've got tanks. We've got snowflakes. We've got soldiers. We've got the actual name of the studio. You can't really see it on camera, but there's like jets down here. There's a helicopter. Wow. It's very detailed and very festive.
Manu?
Nice. Oh, mine is not as detailed as Matt's, but I'm glad I can finally wear this thing after like 1 year of it just like lying around in my cupboard. But I got, so it's like it's I guess the American flag colors, so red, white, and blue. And I got some Santa Clauses, and I think, these are reindeers, but they look like snowmen with like antlers, but reindeers. And then some Christmas trees, and then I got the snowman also under the reindeers. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep. So thank you. Thank you, the Metacast, for letting me wear this sweater.
Once a year.
Yes, once a year. My brother-in-laws are going to be like really happy. So they gave me this.
And we also promised everyone was going to have a beverage for the cozy beverage intro. What did everyone bring?
I'm actually drinking water because I'm in the office. And as I have said previously to Manu, I'm not really sure we're allowed to drink alcohol at the office. But I promise once we're done and I get home, I'll drink something for you guys.
I have a thermos hot tea in a very small mug, so I can just like pour a little bit and it's always the right temperature and doesn't like cool off. So that's how I drink.
So I want to go through this again. You have tea.
Okay.
And a small cup that you refill over time to maintain perfect temperature?
Yes. Yeah. The cup is, I don't know, just a couple ounces, sort of a shot glass with a handle.
It's a very European coffee mug.
I guess it's probably supposed to be an espresso mug.
I have a very American coffee mug. It's massive.
That's a soup bowl.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. It's a little bit early where I am. It's like 8:45 in the morning. Excuse me. So I'm not drinking right now. I am having iced coffee, but in a giant Marvel Avengers coffee mug.
Nice.
Is it warm
Nice.
there?
Is it warm here? I mean, it's relative. It's probably like 50s Fahrenheit, maybe low 60s. So it's cold by Los Angeles standards, but it's not really that cold.
But yeah, it seems like I'm the only one who brought like some light alcohol to the party. Unless like, you know, unless Anton has like vodka filled in that water bottle. But
You never know. You never know.
you never know. We might get to know over the course of this hour. We might just get to know.
Yeah. If I sign off in the middle of the podcast, I'm terribly sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I got this. It's called like a Radler. So it's like a beer with like a lemon flavor in it. And I really like love these bottles because when you open them, then they make this like popping sound. But sometimes the bottles don't make the popping sound. So I'm gonna like, you know, flip the coin now and let's see if it makes the
podcast
popping
magic at
sound.
work.
Very fancy.
Okay.
It's very fancy. I'm actually.
Hey!
All right. So
Awesome.
cheers, guys. Cheers to
Cheers.
2022.
That was so
Cheers.
exciting.
There's actually another reason I'm not having alcohol tonight, at least on the podcast, because yesterday we had our fireside gathering at the company, and I was one of the hosts for that. And obviously we got to celebrate a little bit afterwards. So I'm not
There's already like enough of alcohol in your bloodstream. Yeah, you're ready for the pod. Okay.
that's only Wednesday. Come on.
Maria, what are you drinking?
I brought an alcohol zero stout beer.
Nice.
Wow, no one is excited about my beverage. Okay, let's move on.
Well,
I've never tried zero alcohol stout though.
Yep, that's also new to me. Never heard of that.
Well, more interesting than my alcohol zero beer. So let's start by looking at the year in deals. So Invest Game, that was co-founded by Anton, around mid-February next year is going to release the free report that you can download and review all of the details of 2022 in terms of deals, M&A, investment. And so, yeah, we're going to have a sneak peek today. Anton, do you have any leading insights in terms of number and value of the deals? Were they higher than previous years? Were they lower?
Yeah, actually, there will be a sneak peek because I've asked the guys to check the database, and we already know the number of deals and the deal count for the fourth quarter of 2022, which, as Maria has said, the actual report will be out sometime in the middle of February, right? The third quarter of the year was the first one with negative growth metrics in the blockchain-related investments. Even though the total number of deals continued to grow, the total deal value was actually down in the third quarter and is again down in the fourth quarter. So, as I have just said, it's a downward trend for pretty much every segment. We don't see currently any upward trends, both in the deal count and in the deal value. So all these macroeconomic instability and rising interest rates and other factors are all influencing the industry as a whole, as we all know, and the deal part of the industry as well.
The one other interesting trend that might likely play out in 2023, and which is where VCs might feel good about performing their duty of deploying the capital, is probably going to be in the AI space. So after one like crypto gaming, blockchain gaming hype, then into the next one with AI. But yeah, let's see. I mean it's still like a space I'm like looking into personally, and just trying to see like what are like the different gaming solutions actually kind of getting built up, because probably in the AI space is also where these more picks and shovel layers for the gaming industry that would be a better fit, and like more solutions might be there, and that's also where like VCs generally prefer to kind of put their bets versus more content focused companies. So yeah, let's see if there's like a AI hype going to happen in 2023.
Has everybody else's social media like has everybody else been seeing their social media flooded with this new AI trend?
The chat GPT Lensa pictures and stuff.
Yeah. That man was crazy for a month.
Definitely.
So,
I have a very good friend that is a machine learning data scientist. He's absolutely amazing. And we actually caught up for breakfast the other day. And he was telling me all about how, we shouldn't really trust fully ChatGPT and how he's managed to trick it. And it does provide false information if you push for it. It will never fill the gap by saying, I don't know. It will always fill the gap with something. So yeah, it's just interesting to see how that plays out. I'm not a VC. I'm not too close to it. And so I was just wondering, just because VCs have said, okay, I have this pot of money that I want to invest into blockchain. If we see a continued downward trend in blockchain, if we don't see games reaching the market next year that bring success and, I don't know, re-inspire that segment, could VCs not decide to reallocate those funds to invest in something else?
Yep, I think they could. They could definitely reallocate, but I also feel like some VCs just have a very strong thesis behind, Web3 gaming and the LPs that they kind of cater to with that are also kind of bought into that thesis to a good extent. So even if like games don't release next year, which I think might not really happen, there'll probably be like a good chunk of new Web3 games kind of coming out next year. Even if they don't release, or if the games that are released are actually bad. I guess it just also depends on the VC's long-term thesis for, Web3 gaming and whether they continue to like invest in either the companies that they already invested in, extending the number of rounds, or finding new companies that are still in line with their thesis. So
that also very much depends upon, the terms of those deals that they have entered into. So it's not that easy, I guess, to just, take the money, write off the money and just drop the projects they have invested in. And as for AI, I've recently read an article by Ben Thompson, I believe, who was experimenting with, was it ChatGPT, right? Which was making the home assignment for his daughter or something like that. And so he asked to write an essay, and it wrote a perfectly good essay in terms of the form of the text, but which was completely wrong in terms of the very idea behind the topic. So that was a fun experiment. And I've also recently heard a funny joke, and I hope no gaming artist will be offended by that. But the biggest fear of those people working with art in the gaming industry should not be the fact that AI can actually draw and create, but that they never miss a deadline.
Yeah, that's a real risk.
Yeah, not to offend anyone about missing deadlines.
This is a slight aside, but in film, a lot of times before the composer has had a chance to write the music, the director will have some like stand-in music that they use that's roughly the tone that they want, and they often kind of like fall in love with that music and end up telling the composer, just make something like that. I remember I was reading something with Danny Elfman, and he hates when that happens. So just the other day, my girlfriend was asked by her boss to write part of a paper, and he came in and he said that he had put a prompt into ChatGPT, got it out, and he gave it to her and said, use this and write something like this. So like he was using ChatGPT to give assignments. So, I mean, yeah, we're very much in that, getting to that point where it's at least starting to come down from above to structure things based on whatever the AI has said.
That does sound like, a new toy for investors, like blockchain used to be back in 2021, maybe. Yeah, 21.
Yeah, 21. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the technology is bad or something, but everybody is always looking for the next big thing to get out of the deal with multiples. So that's the nature, of venture. And I should probably also add that there's a peculiar trend we see, which is when huge strategic investors are buying medium and smaller studios. Sometimes people with experience working there are leaving the studios sometime after the acquisition due to several factors. And one thing they do is they trying to, do something on their own and maybe create a gaming studio or, do something else with the experience they've got while working back there. And thus there are the VC funds which are sitting on huge amounts of dry powder, right? As we have previously discussed. And so thus more M&As are leading to more private investments, which is something that will also take probably place in 2023.
Anyway, long story short, generally optimistic about 2023. Things are still moving up and to the right, I think. Maybe a little bit slower, but generally optimistic.
So on that note of optimistic, thank you, Anton, so much for sharing all those insights. Again, mid-February, the report will be live for you to download. And we move on to, I think I'm going to coin it as our informal Metacast award ceremony, where we're all going to bring, we're all going to bring
the first ever
our good highlight of the year, our negative highlight of the year, what we're deeming a unicorn award, which we'll have to figure out by what people bring, what it actually means, and also a game of the year award. Okay.
Nice.
Is everyone ready? Yes. Manu, you are so excited that you should definitely take the first good highlight of 2022.
Oh, shit. Okay. So what? Oh, so are we not starting with like game of the year, or we start with the best highlights?
Do you want to start with game of the year? We can if you want.
Well, I think that's
Let's start with game of the year.
Oh, really?
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So, do we have any like awards music? No.
We can do a drum roll song.
All right. So my game of the year. It's a PC console title. It's called Overcooked All You Can Eat. Okay. First of all, like, how many of you guys know this game?
Yeah, I know that.
You know it? Okay.
Is it
Do you play it with
Overcooked?
your wife?
Yeah.
Nice.
Overcooked All You Can Eat. I believe it's the second part, right, of the franchise.
Yep. So there's Overcooked 1, Overcooked 2, and then Overcooked All You Can Eat, which is like a combination of 1 and 2. So all the levels are in it, and it's like it's basically like a like a time management game where you are a chef in your different restaurants, which are the different levels, and basically you have to service your customers' orders as fast as possible. The faster you serve them, the more points that you get. But the reason it is my game of the year is because this is the only game that I can authentically have fun with my wife. Like, we both play this together, and we're both like slightly competitive people. So, we're always playing like, one-on-one games on this, and it is super fun. It's like... The time to flow state is the shortest
You guys
in this game for me. So
are you guys screaming at each other sometimes for missing the recipe or something like that?
No, that's exactly why we don't play the co-op mode.
Oh, right.
Because we just scream at each other all the time. So we're always playing like one-on-one. So
Wow.
So then it's only
I can totally relate
co-op
to
is
it.
boring.
So I never heard that PvP is healthier for couples than, co-op. This is very interesting.
different strokes for different folks, but this game, I'm still like really shocked that there's no like mobile equivalent of this game. It is really so fun, and I could see like a PvP version of this existing on mobile, and people just like going head to head and stuff. But yeah, anyway, Overcooked All You Can Eat. That's my game of the year. Just like a small side note before we go to the next game of the year, but I also do know couples who like really enjoy co-op mode, but we don't hang out with those couples. So.
All right, Anthony, what is your game of the year?
All right. I have a few. I guess I cheated a little bit, but so I've got three. So one of them is Power Wash Simulator. I talked about my love for this game in an earlier podcast, and there's just something so like zen and peaceful about just spraying paint off of things with a power washer. And I've sunk a lot of hours into very slowly cleaning a playground. I think it was, that type of game is something that we all could use in this year. And I think that's part of the reason it resonated so well. But that was probably my PC game of the year. For a view into a very narrow, small audience of super fans, my idle game of the year is Antimatter Dimensions, the reality update. This Antimatter Dimensions is a game that was back in like 2018 and was fantastic. And then they've been working on an update for the last 4 years and just launched it. And if you want to get into super nerdy number optimization, like it's got months and months of content, and they just did a really nice job with it. So wanted to call that out. And then my last one is I couldn't not do a board game. So I'm going to go with Frostpunk.
Guys.
They did a really nice. So Frostpunk is one of my favorite PC games. They did a really nice job with it, including building like this is the tower that's in the middle that provides the heat to the whole onion. It's incredibly hard, but it's beautiful. It takes up the whole table. It's just a really.
Is it like a worker placement or?
It's a worker placement, and more worker placement death. It's your early on. Got it. Yeah, like one of the first things you need to do is like pass the law that allows you to use child labor, and then you start sending kids out to dig in the snow, and then they come back with frostbite. And it's a very dark game.
It's from the makers. It's from the makers of This War of Mine, right? I believe it is from the board game. The makers of the board game of This War of Mine.
Okay, cool. Got
it. If you had to pick one out of those three, which one would you pick? Or are they all like equal?
I'd probably give it to Power Wash Simulator as just something that was kind of brand new, and so I'll go with that.
Nice.
Does it take long to fully play the Frostpunk board game? I mean, there are games which take like 4 hours, and sometimes I play for several days.
Yeah, this is a 3 to 4 hour game. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I once played This War of Mine board game for 7 hours. It depends how much the group likes to discuss decisions, because decisions could mean life or death.
Yeah. I think the longest I played is 3.5 hours.
Oh, then don't play Twilight Imperium.
Okay.
No, like a 12-hour game. All right, Matt. What did you bring for us today?
You all have much more patience with board games than I do. I don't have time for that. My game of the year was a little game called.
All right,
that's sorry. No shots fired.
Yeah, you just like.
I'm just saying.
3 board game enthusiasts over here.
I like board games.
I don't know if Anton.
I like board games. To be clear, I just want to be clear. Like, I just don't have the patience to sit around and do board games for 3 to 4. Guys.
All right. Anyway.
I can see you're very picky with your friends, Manu. There's like clear objectives they need to meet.
Man, life is short. Yeah.
Matt.
I don't know where to go next. I
This
feel
is
like
a safe
thoroughly
space.
shut
You
down
can-
right now. Is it?
No. Yeah, it is a safe space. Yeah, we love you. Come on. You can do it.
Okay, cool. Well, with that out of the way, my game of the year was a little game called Tunic. I wrote a Twitter thread about this game months ago. I don't think it was like the best game of the year, but it was my personal game of the year because I discovered it at a time where I really needed it. My fiance at the time, now wife, had COVID. I was taking care of her, and then I got COVID, and so I had a lot of time to just like play games and be sick. And this game is, if you haven't played it, it's very cute. It's very, it's kind of like a isometric camera, low poly, very kind of cutesy. You play a fox in this kind of like woodsy, ruined world. And it's very much like classic Zelda games. In my opinion, it draws a lot of inspiration from those type of games. And what really got me is that it has this feature where it has like a game manual, kind of like you would get in the old physical cartridge games. And you can flip through it and it's all in this like game language. So it's not translated. You have to kind of understand the messages through the images. And it's slowly revealed over time. So you collect different pages of the manual in the game world, and you're slowly filling in the information that you have. And so as you pick up these game pages, you learn about different abilities that your character can do in the game, or different areas of the game, or how to solve different puzzles. And it's just very reminiscent of the old days of like classic NES, Super Nintendo gaming, where you're looking at the manual for any hint for the problem that you're stuck with. And I don't know, it just like really kind of checked a nostalgia box for me. And it was a game I needed at that time in my life. So I also listened to a podcast with the creator of the game. I think it was Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences did a podcast with the creator. It was really fascinating to hear his take on how he approached developing the game. So highly recommend it. It was on Game Pass for a while. I don't know if it's still there, but would definitely encourage you all to check it out if you have not played it.
I think it's on PlayStation now, so I definitely have to play it. That sounds great.
Nice.
I love how you
if you
brought a
still value my
sentimental
opinion
game.
after my hot takes on board games, this would be my recommendation.
Oh, I'm just checking out the gameplay on YouTube right now and reading the comments, and everybody is so appreciative of this game. And apparently,
very positive reviews on Steam. Yeah,
the fact that not a single word of this game is in a language anybody can comprehend, yet we all still manage to understand, says a lot.
Yeah,
It's the top
Absolutely.
comment.
definitely.
Looks nice.
Okay, then that. I don't know, Anton.
so
Did
is
you
Anton next?
did you have time to prepare a game of the year?
Sure. I'll just be short, but I did have time. Come on, we're talking about games, right? I'm a very casual gamer, unfortunately, and I'm not the person to even try Elden Ring, for example, because I know for sure that I will beat into hell, and I don't have, unfortunately, any personal time to just sit and
Get your ass kicked.
yeah, and keep getting beaten up by a single boss on a single location for 100.
You're a happier person for it.
Yeah. So, being a casual gamer, I'm not going to surprise anyone. My game of the year is the game I currently play. It's God of War Ragnarok on PlayStation 5. And I'm a big fan of the franchise. I'm a big fan of Kratos. I'm a big fan of that relationship vibe, the upbringing process of a child, of a teen. And I really like how Atreus is now a teen and how he pisses off everybody, and just like teens do in real life. So, of course, the second part of the new franchise, God of War, has some Marvel vibes. Like everybody is there, everybody is constantly helping you, and it's like Avengers Assemble kind of stuff. But I still love it, and it's amazing. It's an amazing game.
It's a strong pick, yeah, for game of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to surprise anyone. It's not that I actually try to make time to play some not that AAA video games. I've played Stray, and I've also played this Cult of the Lamb game, which is also great. But I'm a completionist type of gamer, who has to complete every single side quest and find every single chest in the game. And that's exactly what I do in God of War. And that's exactly the reason why every one of my friends has already finished God of War, and I'm still playing it, even though it's the end of the year and the game was out on November 9th. And I bought it on the release, and I still haven't finished it because first, I don't really have time. And second, I'm trying to complete everything there is there. But it's so good. You play it for 3, 4, 5 hours, and you're just walking around all the 9 worlds. And
this is my nightmare game.
I strongly considered it. I have gotten so annoyed with Atreus that until they put out a Shut Up Atreus patch, I don't know if I can play it anymore.
Really?
So the problem is,
go to your corner. Yeah.
I mean, legitimately. So they've gone so far. You'll start a puzzle, and then Atreus will just tell you the answer. So it takes away much of the puzzle element.
Yeah.
And I understand they were trying to make it more accessible, and the accessibility options in the game are incredible. I've never seen a game just able to cater to whatever kind of challenges you have. But yeah,
they don't have a hint config.
No, I
Wow.
work for them to add it. And I don't know how, there's so many spoken lines of dialogue of these hints, maybe it'd be really hard to go back and tag them all or something. I'm not sure, but it's a very common complaint that I see, and really the only complaint I have about the whole game, but I feel like it takes away a large part of the enjoyment of just being able to enjoy those puzzles.
They're literally telling you in a minute, if you do not succeed in solving a puzzle, every sidekick is just do this and go there.
Yeah, it makes me feel dumb.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it was Uncharted that had some kind of hint system, if I'm not wrong. Oh, I'm surprised they missed that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will go to my game
Maria's
of the year.
Game of the Year,
which is a board game. It's ISS Vanguard. Sorry, Matt, it's a board game. So how do I describe?
Can you play it? Can you play it in one day?
How long have I played it? It's a legacy narrative co-op game, so it takes quite a lot of sessions to get through. In total, we've played about 12 hours of it, I think.
Oh, okay.
How long is one session?
So it's divided into 2 loops. You have the ship management, and then you have the planetary exploration. And in the ship management, imagine the meta of an idle RPG game where you get characters, you upgrade them, you upgrade your ship, you do all of these things, you produce stuff, and you resolve drama. And then you have the actual exploration, which is when you land on a planet and you're discovering it, doing fights. And so each part of those sessions the exploration takes about 2 hours, and the ship management is around half an hour.
What do you like about it?
It's just been such a long time since I've played a really well-balanced co-op game. Since Gloomhaven, I haven't found a game where everyone has to be really playing as a group and tactically and leaning into their character's expertise. And then the balancing, it just goes down to the last round and just makes it an exciting play where you have to get everything right in the order and what you're doing to get off the planet. It's just very satisfying and a bit of an adrenaline rush, to be honest.
That sounds fantastic.
Yes, really good. And then the story is just beautiful. I love space operas, and this has all the ticks of a really good space opera.
My one criticism of Frostpunk is that it's really just a one-player game. They have co-op, but it's there's not much asymmetry. The different characters aren't really different. So you get some of that, the co-op of kind of arguing back and forth about what you should do, but less of the roles that I like to see in co-op games. So that sounds fantastic, and now I'm going to have to go find it.
It's really good, honestly. I highly recommend it. And then I'm looking forward to falling back in love with console next year. There was no game released this year for console that made me go wow. And I realize, and I've come to peace, I'm just tired of the known formula of open world, lots of side quests. You have to grind it. There's not a lot of gameplay discovery throughout the 80 hours I have to play, so I get bored fairly quickly. Yeah, looking forward to people doing exciting new kinds of games. And then the games that are really interesting, like Elden Ring and Returnal, they're just too hard. I don't have the patience to just sit there for hours trying to defeat one thing. I want to be productive in my sessions.
Yeah,
that's exactly what completion means. Completion means when it comes to different types of gamers. I mean, there are PvP gamers and completionist types, and some other types. There are many types, but what completionist gives you is that you feel productive.
I don't
you actually tick off those side quests.
It's not that productive.
Productive, I guess.
Yeah, different kinds of productivity.
You described yourself as a casual player. I definitely was not expecting God of War as your game of the year.
I was expecting Candy Crush.
I mean casual as in.
That's what I was expecting.
I mean casual as in not gonna spend 100 hours on a single Elden Ring boss.
But
like some of my friends do. When I saw them playing Elden Ring and they got beaten up every single time for just entering a certain location, I was like, really? So when do you expect to finish it? Next year?
Okay, we have to get through these more quickly, or else we're gonna run out of time.
Yeah. Next award or not?
We need more vodka. Okay. The good highlight, is that the one we want to go with next, or the unicorn? Manu, you're choosing.
Oh, unicorn should be like at the end. I think that's like the big reveal. So.
Okay, then the good.
Matt, my best friend, doesn't like board games.
Okay, I'll keep this quick since everyone has opinions right now. A little bit of inside baseball for the listeners. We have a notes document, right? And so normally when I prep for the podcast, I put all my notes in the document. My friends here on the podcast with me on the round table did not put their selections in the document. So everyone knows what I'm going to say, but I have no idea what everyone else is going to say. So anyways, everyone knows.
I didn't check the notes document, so I also don't know what you're going to say. So everything is like new to me.
Okay, cool. Well, you'll appreciate this, Manu, because my good highlight for 2022 was Elden Ring and From Software. Yes. So we've already talked about it a little bit. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but to me, this game is just like an incredible achievement. I've been playing Dark Souls franchise for a long time now, and the way that they've been able to build up this, cult following into and finally break through to a mass market with a game that, as we've talked about, is brutally difficult. It does not hold your hand at all. There's no instructions. There's no hints. There's no tutorials. It's like, go figure it out and die a bunch of times and keep coming back. And like, that's supposed to be fun. And so like, just it's like an incredible achievement in my opinion. So just a quick number here. As of last month, November, Elden Ring was at 17.5 million units sold. And that is more than Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro combined. So huge success for this company. Premium box product. It's not a live service or anything. And I think they've only recently put in their like multiplayer arena, like Coliseum update. I haven't played it yet. I actually never finished Elden Ring. Like I put easily 120 hours into it and never finished the story. I was too busy like doing all the side quests. I'm kind of like Anton. I like to do like complete everything. But anyways, it's brutally difficult. It's unapologetic, and it was a massive mainstream success in spite of all those things. So that is my highlight of 2022. So shout out to From Software.
To be honest with From Software, I'm so excited about Armored Core 6.
I don't know anything about that game, but I know From Software, so I'm on board.
It's a 10-year after a 10-year pause, I believe. It's a new part of the franchise, and the last one was PlayStation 3. So I haven't played a single game of that IP, but I'm really excited after the Game Awards trailer. Looks amazing, and apparently they've said that it's not going to be that hard as the Souls-like games of From Software.
Did From do the other ones?
And also, one more thing about what Matt has said. I mean, when you're trying to complete everything on the map, and when Elden Ring does not give a single, I'm trying to be polite here, but when Elden Ring doesn't give you a single tip of where to go and how to finish the quest, this is another reason why I'm not playing this game.
Even the map is not accurate. Like, it's like, this is what the map is supposed to be, but through like narrative events, like this bridge is no longer existing, or like this castle is ruined or whatever. Like, it's not an accurate map either.
Wow.
I need to kick Atreus out of God of War and into Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Matt, did you finish Elden Ring?
I never finished it. I was probably 120, 130 hours in, and I got sidetracked, like trying to do all the side quests and things like that. I never finished the main storyline. I always intended to go back. I will go back one day. I'll do a different build. But no, I didn't finish it.
Anthony, what was your best highlight?
My highlight was the Steam Deck. I think it really surprised everyone. There was a lot of hesitation. The very earliest versions had a lot of bugs in them when it came out early this year. But at this point, it sold over 1 million units. It may be more than that, but that's the number that we seem pretty comfortable quoting. Very positive reviews all over. The price tag, I mean, you're getting, it's not a high-end gaming computer, but it's a gaming computer for $399. The tech behind it, their Proton compatibility layer that allows Windows games to run on Linux, is pretty amazing, and a huge win for Linux fans. This, as much as the Steam box just didn't work, I think Valve actually got it right here. They have the software to really make it work. It's now, you're not limited to just Linux games. You get almost the whole library, at least of the modern ones. They've apparently been paying their open source developers who are working on it, so it's good to see them kind of like feeding back into the open source community. It's a very open system, which is also really nice to see. So, anyone can put their software on it. You can run, it actually has a full Linux desktop just running in it too. You can just push a button and bounce over to Linux. You can install Windows on it. Lars Doucet, who's been on a couple of the podcasts, traveled a while back and just took a Steam Deck and installed Windows on it and used it as his PC while he was traveling. So I think it's fantastic hardware. It's really good software. And it's sold well so far, and, largely limited by the just production, difficulties. So, I'm really excited to see where that goes. And, in particular, to see if third-party manufacturers start to build their own versions of it, because then we could get a lot more innovation. I don't think Valve is looking to make money on the Steam Deck as much as just, get Steam into more and more hands. So, they don't need to win on the hardware side. It's in their best interest to do, like Android, like Google did, and open it up and just get as many fantastic devices on it. So that's my good of the year.
Nice. And it also looks pretty good. I mean, so Thomas, who's part of our consulting team, he really wanted the Steam Deck, but he's sitting in Australia and they don't really ship there. So he shipped one to me, and then I had to kind of ship it to him, and I had to open the box when I got it. So I saw it and it looks pretty slick. And yeah, now I have a little bit of Steam Deck FOMO. I might just purchase one, but yeah.
And the dock works well as well. It's very much like a Nintendo Switch. So I use that as my gaming on my computer or on my TV, because I can't reach my gaming computer with it. And I mean, it's still a little early, but it works.
I'm getting FOMO too.
The only reason you don't have to.
Something went wrong with the recording. Okay.
You don't really have to care about FOMO because I have Switch and I haven't used Switch in the last couple of months. So when you get Steam Deck, you're probably gonna use that for a month or so if you're like me, and then it's gonna be not used. Probably. But I was supposed to be using a Nintendo Switch on the plane and using the train or whatever. And I do not even do that now.
Anton, this is meant to be the positive section. We have to be positive here.
I'm just trying to.
There's not enough vodka in that bottle that he has, man. Right. He's actually drinking water.
even without the portability, like just getting a $300 gaming computer that you can hook up to a monitor is also something that's pretty much impossible to do, even if you're building your own off of Newegg. Like it's so. I don't use it for portability as much as just having it as a useful computer I can carry around or put where I want.
Okay. Manu, what is your best highlight of the year?
So my best of 2022 is probably a name that has come up very often now, at least in the past month, and it's Marvel Snap. So the reason, okay. One disclaimer: I actually don't really enjoy the game. It's not like a very fun game for me. But the reason it's my best of 2022 is because I kind of find it to be a game that will like push the free to play mobile industry in the right directions going forward. So I kind of see like, if there were like three big trends that I feel will kind of play out over the next 3 to 4 years, they would be so games with or mobile free to play games with very high production values, then just an increasing amount of IP infusion in mobile games, and like there are just IDFA and like marketing related reasons for all of that, but also just IPs want to be in games now, the IPs that don't even have games their own. And the third is being cross-platform from the get-go. So high production values, increase IP infusion, and kind of being cross-platform from the get-go. I feel these three trends all culminate in Marvel Snap really, really well. And other developers kind of looking to kind of build for 2023, 2024, 2025. I think Marvel Snap is like one of these games that sets that bar for a lot of these more higher end, maybe more on the AAA mobile free to play side of developers. Genshin Impact had like a similar impact when it kind of came out, and people like it really opened up I think the Western developers' eyes and minds towards how much of quality can be packed onto a mobile device, and people, and basically like I felt personally a lot of the Western developers were just like asleep at the wheel on that regard, and then MiHoYo, and now called HoYoverse, just kind of showed the world the technical marvel with that. So yeah, I wouldn't like go into the whys behind any of these trends and all too much, just because we want to keep it short also. But yeah, that would be my best of 2022.
Okay, Anton, how about you?
I'm gonna be short, and I'm just gonna say that the best thing that has happened to me in terms of the market and in terms of the industry is that the company I work for has successfully navigated all the things we had to deal with in 2022, and the new role, the new direction that we have taken as a family, as a team of 2,000 plus people, and the way that I believe we're looking into 2023 with a little bit more optimism than we had during all this year is probably the best thing that has happened to all of us.
All right, Maria.
Oh, yes. So my best highlight of the year is that cozy games are becoming a thing. In a previous episode, Matt is also lifting his arms up in cheers. I already went through a bit of a long description as to why I'm very excited about this, so I won't go through it again. Anyway, who doesn't want a cozy game to feel good? And I think something that excites me a lot is that I believe it would be a great genre for VR, because I think VR with a headset, high action, fast-paced games, it can be difficult to adapt to that kind of platform. And so who doesn't want to be immersed exploring a forest and petting tails of lots of cute little animals? Like, sign me up for that. I will like to know how it's going to be monetized and how I could potentially explore a new way to monetize games, because free-to-play monetization is definitely not cozy.
The reason I'm so excited is because I considered putting Unpacking as one of my either best of or game of the year, but it came out in 2021. Okay. So did not qualify, but yeah, big fan of that take, Maria.
Is Tunic also like a cozy game or not? I haven't played the cozy game.
Ish, like it's not like super stressful, but there is like combat and things like that. So I don't know if I'd call it exactly a cozy game.
If you could pet the fox's tail, I'd say yes, but you can't. So not
At least
cozy.
the visual style of cozy games.
Okay, now we go to the negative part. So this is a roller coaster. We go from positive, we go to negative, and then we're going to have the finale of the unicorn. So starting off, who wants to kick off the bad news? Who wants to be the downer?
I can go first since you guys are already like on the opposite side of me here. Mine will be very quick, to be clear. But so I actually wrote about this back in August, and my topic for worst of 2022 is gaming layoffs. So back in August, I predicted that we would see more gaming layoffs, and sadly that has come to pass. So it's maybe good news for startups that are looking for talent or people who want to go start up their own venture. I would encourage impacted workers to do so if they're in a financial situation to do that. But that was a bummer, and that was my worst of 2022.
Yeah, like slightly related. We kind of recognize the same on the newsletter side of it. So we just we made like the job board free. So anyone listening and they want to get their job featured on the newsletter, just check out the newsletter, check out the job board, and post over there. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, Manu. Yeah, I think this year made me go from I thought games was quite stable in terms of layoffs and was more secure, but actually. Yeah, these corrections happen across the board. Okay, next bad highlight. Thanks for kicking it off, Matt. Manu?
Yeah, so it's going to be, so it's a game, again, and it's a mobile free-to-play one. I think my worst of 2022 is probably X-Hero, and the reason I find it to be the worst of 2022 because it makes a lot of money, but it also represents like everything that I feel is wrong with mobile free-to-play, and that's not really great. The things that I kind of find that it or the vibes that it puts out towards the industry is. You can make a lot of money by, almost like duping players with a marketing strategy like that. And also like just, this like really crass bait and switch that happens in that game. So yeah, I guess, not to like, get too much into the details of it. We did talk about it in a previous podcast, but yeah, it makes a lot of money, and to me at least, it from a marketing strategy standpoint, from a game design standpoint, and this is more like it's a personal take. There's no real objectivity to this, but for me at least, it just represents how I wouldn't want the mobile free-to-play space to evolve in 2023 and beyond. So. Yeah,
you don't want to save the Doge. You weren't a fan of saving the Doge.
Have you seen the new art that they applied to it
in a separate game?
It's no longer saving a Doge. It's no longer saving a Doge. It's now saving a really horrifying, scary face.
Oh yeah,
from flies.
Yeah, is that they did the app icon change, right? And it's just like this. Yeah, a crazy looking woman. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even cute anymore.
But yeah, anyway. Yeah, it's not even cute anymore. No more Doge. Yeah.
No more Doge. Okay, I'll go to the next part.
I would want to see like more Doge in mobile free to play also in 2023. So no more Doge is another point for everything that's wrong. But
yeah, I support more Doge games.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad highlight of the year are the crypto pump and dumps and the collapse of Terra Luna and FTX. I think it really hurt the perception of blockchain even further because it wasn't great starting off, apart from a small segment of people in the world. A lot of people lost quite a lot of money. And so, that's always really harsh that you couldn't fully prevent that. And I think FTX brought crypto to a wider awareness of people and gamers that aren't always keeping up with the bleeding edge. And now I think that's not the great first foot forward into bringing that wider awareness. My mom talks to me about FTX. That's how she got into knowing about crypto and following that market. I think that will just hurt mainstream adoption further. I hope it recovers, and I hope it's just, a small slump. But yeah, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I was saying, both the FTX collapse and the Terra Luna thing kind of hitting back to back has like really, from this like mass adoption perspective, it's really like taken crypto more broadly a few steps back. And like your mom is kind of bringing it up with you. Even in my friend circle, it's only negativity around crypto versus what the mood used to be back in 2021, and people are actually excited about walking through all the UI UX headaches of setting up a wallet, and they were willing to do that.
Anton, what is your bad highlight of 2022?
Yeah, again, I'm going to be super short on this one. So basically, the worst thing that has happened is the Eastern European part of the market and of the industry and the whole professional community has been very much divided since the beginning of the year. And the worst part for me was just seeing, people who used to work together and communicate on the gaming events and sharing the knowledge and the expertise were discussing some other stuff, right? Which had pretty much no connection to the market, to the industry we all love. I guess it's still happening, not as intensive as it used to be, or maybe I just isolated myself from that. I don't know, but the beginning and the middle of the year was all about that, and everybody had to deal with the consequences instead of just making great games, experimenting with the genres and whatnot, and with the monetization model, whatever. And everybody just had to deal with the consequences and save the business and try to save the people that work for the company in all terms of the word. So yeah, that would be the worst part. I just hope that 2023 would be the way better year for the industry and for the people working there.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you a lot for sharing that. Anthony, last bad highlight before we move on back to happiness.
All right. There's almost certainly some recency bias in this, in that it was just a couple of days ago. But Epic Games was fined $520 million by the FTC. And it was split between about half of that was for their in-game store and the refund system. So the complaints, they, at least according to the plaintiff or the FTC, they ignored over 1 million user complaints about like inadvertent purchases and things not working. It was very easy to make unauthorized purchases with a single button tap. And a variety of things that they just didn't really address until this past year, when I think it's certainly too late. And then the other half was for child privacy and safety. They early on, employees apparently had requested that voice chat be opt-in, and they decided not to do that, which led to a lot of harassment of young kids under the age of 13, or at least them having to be exposed to that. They were asking for information from less than 13-year-olds. They didn't always comply with requests to delete accounts and information. So, I mean, that's bad. At the same time, you can see it as a good move in that the FTC is cracking down on it and, making sure that companies this is going to be an important precedent and kind of example. $500 million is not a slap on the wrist even for Epic. And so, I mean, hopefully other companies will start taking some of these issues more seriously, but, and somewhat to, I mean, I don't know if I want to give Epic credit for it, but, they accepted the settlement, and the release that I saw, was not them. They didn't deny it as much as just said that they accepted it because they want to, move forward and be, some of the best customer experience. So it feels like they at least have somewhat admitted to it and are working within the last year. Have made a lot of changes to try to address it. But yeah, it's one of the biggest in the industry, having some pretty significant problems with privacy and safety.
Yeah, hopefully the solutions that they develop will become part of the platform as well, so that other game devs can integrate with their solutions. All right, now we reach the Unicorn Awards.
Nice. Finally, the unicorns.
I still don't quite know.
Maria picked me first again.
I still don't quite know what this genre is. So yeah, we'll see what each of us picked, and that will influence next year's Unicorn Awards.
It's kind of like better than the best. Also, just something that blew your mind completely in over 2022.
Yeah,
or at least for me, it was like that. But
I should probably go first then, because mine wasn't as amazing. I interpret it more as like a grab bag, pick something that you want to give an award for. But I didn't go for the just amazingness. So I'll start it off, and you guys can ramp up from there. So I picked best new genre, and went with I don't know if we want to call them a horde 'em up or a horde survival, but the Vampire Survivors is the game that really kind of brought it into light. I was a little surprised doing some research. Happy's Survivor.io actually predates Vampire Survivors, and Magic Survival is a game that was from 2019 that both of those games are very, very similar to. So,
interesting.
Much to my surprise, Vampire Survivors did not invent that genre, but they did have a tremendous amount of success and polished a lot of it, and have continued to live service it and provide new content. And we've seen
when did Vampire Survivors go live?
It was in December 2021, and really started picking up in 2022. And they've estimated to have somewhere between 2 and 5 million sales, 98% positive on Steam, 86 Metacritic rating. And then I was just looking for other games in the genre, and all of these are early access and either very positive or overwhelming positive on Steam, which Runic Survivor, Brotato, Army of Ruin, Rogue Genesia, Bounty of One, Crimson Dawn, 20 Minutes Till Dawn. These are all directly inspired by that game. And so it's really a new genre that plays well on PC. It plays well on mobile. Survivor.io, I think Happy's had some pretty good success with. So that was my kind of grab bag award, was best new genre.
That's super interesting to know that Happy did. I always thought Happy copied Vampire Survivors, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
We can check the data on it, but I was looking at Sensor Tower, and it looked like their earliest versions were from 2020, in test markets. It may have changed a lot since then, so don't quote me as much on that one. But Magic Survival definitely was from 2019 and predated both of those.
All right, Anton, do you have a unicorn?
I'm not sure whether this can be actually described as the Unicorn Award, but I was thinking about two things. The first one is the game that I have already mentioned today, which is Call of the Lamb. And this is a unicorn because I would describe the unicorn here as the game, because on one hand, it's a great game with great visuals, and the very great ideas behind it, like in terms of the gameplay, in terms of the setting, right? I mean, if you haven't played it, it's basically about a small lamb who was sacrificed in the forest by some evil forces, and the devil resurrects him to create a cult of all the cartoonish animals living in the forest, like rabbits and foxes and whatnot. And so there are basically two things you can do in the game, with the first one being handling your camp, your cult. You have to build stuff, you have to maintain stuff, you have to take care of the cult members, you have to bury them if they die, or you have to clean up after them, you have to feed them, and they're maybe heretics, and you have to deal with heretics as well. You may take them to prison. It's a very fun game. Matt,
I promise I didn't look at the notes. What is your unicorn of the year?
Yeah, okay, sure. So my unicorn award, initially I was going to put Elden Ring here, but I put that as my best of. So I went with one that I thought was a huge overachievement, and that is Wordle. So Wordle came out of nowhere, and then suddenly it was everywhere, and everyone was playing it, and it just was like insanely popular and insanely simple. Really simple word game.
That's a good one.
It was acquired at the height of its popularity by New York Times for, quote, the low seven figures. So a nice exit for the creator. And by the way, the guy who created it, his name is Josh Wardle. He was the same developer or product manager as Reddit Place, which I think is a really interesting sort of social experiment that I've written about in the past for Naavik. Definitely check that out if you're not familiar with it. And so I'll just leave you with sort of
he's done like a few like of these games, right? He kind of has this knack of like creating these like super concise like game experiences, but they're always viral, right?
Yeah, I there are other examples. I didn't write them down, but there are definitely others. And I think he created this, if I'm not mistaken, like for his partner. Like they like to do puzzles together, and this was just something he kind of threw together for the two of them to play, which I think is really, really sweet. So just to kind of like give you all and give the listeners like a taste of like the cultural impact that this game had, I was looking at an article that had a list of the spin-off games that were inspired by Wordle, and I'm sure you all have seen some by this point. It's like a huge list, but some of the highlights for me, there was one called Worldle, which is you guess the country from a silhouette. There's Hurdle, where you're guessing a song from a snippet. There was Wordolly, which is Wordle plus Dolly. You're guessing the prompt from a Dolly-generated image. There was Pirtle, which is named after Jakob Pirtle, who's an NBA player, so you're guessing NBA players. Shout out to my fellow NBA nerds. There's Hexadecordle, which is 16 words. And there's about 50 other ones too. So you just Google it, like Wordle spin-offs. There's so many of them. So shout out to Wordle.
Matt, what's your NBA team?
That's an easy one. My NBA team is the Boston Celtics, the greatest sports franchise in North American professional sporting history with 17 championships. You can see lots of memorabilia behind me. Celtics memorabilia. So I'm outing myself to the entire Naavik audience. I'm a Celtics fan, even though I live in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
they are the best.
You live in LA. Why not Lakers?
Because the Lakers suck. I mean, come on. First of all, there are no lakes in Los Angeles. Let me be clear. There are no lakes in Los Angeles.
All right.
They adopted the Minneapolis Lakers championships for their own. My wife is a Lakers fan, by the way, so she's probably listening through the door, like shaking her head. But anyways, I'm not shy about this, as you can tell.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Nice.
When's the last time that they won a championship?
The Celtics or the Lakers?
Yeah, the Celtics.
I believe it was 2008, 2007, 2008.
Oh, that's been.
But they were in the finals last year, and
Oh.
they kind of blew it. But hopefully this year.
Okay, we'll go to mine. I will leave Manu's unicorn to the last because he's clearly the most excited member of this roundtable with these awards.
No. Okay.
Yes. You're going to be wrapping up the show. Okay, my unicorn was Crafton. Because it's been a really long time since I've fallen in love with a company that and what they're building. And I remember just doing the research, and then I stayed up until like 2 a.m. because I wanted to keep going down the rabbit hole. So they're just making so many cool games, and I want to play them all. I know that Callisto Protocol has some issues with it, and I would love to play it, but I heard that it's actually really scary, and so I can't. But yeah, maybe one day I'll grow strong enough.
Yeah, I saw the trailer of that, and then I stopped myself from downloading it. But yeah, I can't handle it.
But like all about how they're trying to become and build the groundwork of going cross-platform and being a multi-IP house, and how they're investing a lot in tech-adjacent industries, also exploring hyper-realistic humans and all that they're doing in terms of PUBG Live Ops and Ren crossover. It's just so exciting, and I can't wait to play a dark fantasy RPG, because I think fantasy games can be just a bit too happy. So I'm really looking forward to getting into that. Yeah, Crafton.
I was just going to say, I think it's going to be a big year for Crafton. I wrote about them for Naavik Digest recently, and I think Callisto Protocol maybe like didn't do that well. I haven't looked at the numbers. I think like it's a good game, but like from a sales perspective, I don't think it's like blowing anyone away. And as you point out, Maria, they need to develop other IPs. Like they can't rely on PUBG forever, especially when the biggest PUBG game is split with Tencent. And so they're not really capturing all the profits that they could be otherwise. So I think it's a really interesting company, and they may get, I have no data to support this, but my sort of hunch is that they may get more involved in blockchain than they already are, and try and, snatch up some companies there. But I think it'll be a big year for Crafton coming up. It's crucial. Whether it goes well or not, we'll see, but it's important that they get it right.
I think they made a partnership with Solana. Do you think FTX could potentially hurt their investment that they're getting into? I couldn't find too many details about it.
It's possible. I don't know the details of it either, but I do know that they had some sort of deal with Solana Labs. I don't know. All the Solana games are kind of in a weaker position because of FTX.
All right, Manu, wrap us up like a little present.
Okay. All right. This is a happy unicorn, no Anton unicorn, but this one is called, or not called, but my unicorn of 2022 is actually Stumble Guys, because I think the story of Stumble Guys is really like a story. It's a 2.5-year story actually, until they sold to Scopely. But it's really a story of a team that recognized an opportunity very quickly, and then kind of rose to that occasion, and then kind of made the most of that opportunity over 2.5 years. And we saw the pinnacle of that once they got kind of when they sold to Scopely. So like some interesting highlights about this game. I guess we have previously also talked about when they launched, and when Fall Guys launched. That was kind of the part, just that 6-week production timeline very quickly after launching Fall Guys was kind of the part that that's the recognizing the opportunity part. And this was pretty interesting just because of they immediately kind of filling a gap on the store, where everyone was kind of searching for Fall Guys Mobile, but we're basically landing on Stumble Guys. One very interesting thing that we kind of found in our research was, if you actually check the APK of Stumble Guys, the original name of the game was actually Fall Buddies. So the APK actually says like Fall Buddies dot whatever APK code. But yeah, and also like another interesting thing is this whole Scopely acquisition part of things. This is actually not something new to that team. They've first of all, this is a team that's been working together for a very long time, but they've done it twice already in the past. So they sold Skidstorm to Cheetah Mobile, and then like eventually sold also Boom Carts to Fingersoft in 2021, and then this whole Stumble Guys and then the Scopely thing. So it was just like interesting to kind of go through their story and see the small 4 to 6 person team see so much of success because they recognized an opportunity, they rose to the occasion, worked super hard and kept improving the game, and eventually, sold it to Scopely. So in stark contrast to everything like X Hero, which is everything that is wrong with mobile free to play, I kind of like to salute the Stumble Guys team quite a bit. Even though, okay, sure, it's a copy of Fall Guys, but still.
Yeah, it's about that recognition of the market and jumping onto it quickly, going quick to market. Yeah, wow, I didn't realize I had done it before. Yep. That's very interesting. It's being a hard-hitting team that knows each other very well. Curious to get to know them.
Yep. And and almost feels like like an internal strategy of theirs. Build the game and then sell it and then build the next one.
Okay, we're going to wrap up. This was our longest roundtable ever because it's a holiday special. And does anyone have any last words before we close up the Santa shop?
Thanks for listening. Appreciate it.
Go
Celtics.
Go Celtics, yeah. No, I'm always appreciative of the people that listen to the podcast and care about what we have to say and read the newsletter. And I'm just like, I'm always appreciative of that. So thank you for listening. Thank you for reading.
Yep, definitely. And 2022 like really went by so fast. And but really looking forward to 2023. I'll be becoming a dad in March, so I'll probably not be around on the podcast for some time. But
congrats!
Thank you. But looking forward to 2023 for more than work reasons also. So
and just to highlight what Matt said, always very appreciative of everyone who listens. I know we can't get to know each other always. It's this whole content creation online. But if you were ever in conferences and around and you want to meet, send a message to any of us. It's always good to get to know each other, even though you do most of the listening and we do the talking, like to turn the tables around. So have a good holiday, everyone. Definitely. If you are going to celebrate Christmas, have a good Christmas. And we'll pick up again, I believe, in the second week of January, because we're going to take a little break. All right. Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.
Also, happy Hanukkah. I know it's Hanukkah right now.
Yes.
We also celebrate
Happy Hanukkah.
Big Hanukkah feast coming up in the Dion household very soon. So thank you.
Enjoy all the holidays, everyone. See you next year.